Alright, muchachos, so we're going to do problems 4.07 and 4.08 about spiciness, alright, because they're interrelated in some ways. So anywho, I have them in DrRacket, so let's just get started. So problem 4.07, spicy arrow fire. So this problem has two subproblems in them, problem A and B, so let's just get started with problem A. I give myself some space here to minimize some distractions. Alright, so a company has a digital self-order food menu tablet in their store. The menu has a description of how spicy some foods are. The descriptions are not spicy, mild, medium, hot, extra hot, and extremely hot. So write the data definition for spicy description following the design recipe for data. So we're just going to do this half of the design recipe, and this should be pretty similar to the previous problems, right? So pause the video and try to work it on your own. I'm going to go over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. Alright, so I'm going to assume that you guys took a good swing at it. So let's just start with the data description as always. So a spicy description is one of. So it's either not spicy, the string not spicy, the string mild, the string medium, the string hot, the string extra hot, and then the string extremely hot. All right. So do you guys like spicy food, by the way? Because I love spicy food. It is like, I eat a lot of sriracha. Put a lot of sriracha hot sauce on my food. All right. Anywho, back to the subject. So that's the data description part done. Admittedly, the interpretation for this is kind of obvious in a sense that, hey, it's a spicy description, and here are some very descriptive words. So let's just skip the interpretation step for now. It seems like we can hold that in our heads. You know, it's kind of obvious. Next are the data examples. So since these are strings, it's always a good habit to make these constants. So I'm going to define not spicy, and then it's going to be the string not spicy. And I'm going to do the same for the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next one should be mild. Next one should be medium. Next one should be hot. Next one should be extra hot. And then the last one should be extremely hot. Alright, because it's better to mistype variable names, because you're going to get an error saying, hey, this variable doesn't exist. But with strings, it's like way harder, right? It's going to be, you're going to have to chase down the error. All right, so always good to identify the constants. There we go. So that's the data example step done. Next is a function template that processes this data. So let's just do that. So it's going to be define spicy desk temp consumes SD. I'm just taking the first letter S and D from here. It's hard to come up with variable names sometimes. But anywho, since this is a one of course, we gotta like visually symmetrically match how many cases there are. So there are 6 cases here. Therefore, we need 6 cases in the cond. 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have to distinguish between each case. So we have to compare with string equal as the question. SD, and then next is not spicy, and we gotta do something. We don't know yet, since this is just laying out the puzzle pieces before we tackle a solution. Just what does the structure of the data do, just by like, you know, what do we know about the data, and what the shape of the code will look like, right? What's the minimum base code that has to be true to operate on this data, in a sense, right? So next is extra hot, and then extremely hot. There we go. All right, so now we are done with the first problem and the data description. So now let's move on to the second problem, all right? All right, so problem B. So you get complaints by non-English speaking customers about how they cannot understand spicy description. Obviously because they can't read the English of what this means and, you know, how they describe spice levels. So you come up with the genius idea to mimic the 5-star rating system, but with the fire emojis instead of stars, all right? So design a spicy arrow fire function that consumes spicy description and produces a string of fire emojis in an increasing amount corresponding to the spicy description data definition following the design recipe for functions. So they give some examples here. So not spicy should produce, no fire emojis, the string of fire emojis. Mild should produce 1, and then medium should produce 2. So we can guess that the next one produces 3, 4, and 5, etc. All right. So anywho, pause the video and try to work through the second half of the design recipe for functions consuming the data. Should be similar to the previous problems. I'm gonna go over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so let's start with signature. So let's see, this function is called spicy arrow fire. So let's just do that. So it consumes, consumes a spicy description. Spicy description, the data definition we wrote above, and produces a string of fire emojis. So a string of fire emojis in an increasing amount corresponding to the spicy description. All right, so anywho, that's the signature. Next is the purpose. So I'm just going to copy this straight from the problem. Again, in the future, what is it? There we go. In the future, it won't be so obvious from the question, the problem statement itself. All right. Next is the stub. So spicy arrow fire consumes a SD for spicy description, 1 parameter, and we'll do an empty string as that value. All right, as a dummy value. Next are the examples. So they gave us some up here, so let's just use them. So check expect spicy arrow fire consumes, let's see, not spicy. We have constant examples for that. Instead of typing the string not spicy, we can just use the variable not spicy to make sure that we don't, miscapitalize some words and stuff. So not spicy should produce empty check expect spicy arrow fire. Let's see, mild should produce 1 fire emoji. So let's just copy this emoji down. This may look different on Windows and Mac because they have different emojis for stuff, but as long as you copy it from here, it doesn't matter and you'll pass. So that's 1. This should be medium. Medium. All right, next should be hot. So hot should be 3. And then I'm just going to do this for as many as there are. So hot, and then what is after hot? Hot, extra hot, and then extremely hot should be the max one. There we go. All right, so hot. Let's see. Extra hot, and then extremely hot. There we go. Cool. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they're in increasing order. So that's 1 fire, 2 fire, 3 fire, 4 fire, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. So there's 6 here, 6 tests, and then 6 cases in the one up here. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Cool. So anywho, since this consumes a spicy description, we can look up and see if there's a template for it that we wrote. And surely enough, there is. So let's just use this as a baseline. Before that, though, let's run the stub against the examples to make sure we don't have any typos. And we don't. This is what we want. So now let's just paste this here and rename this to spicy arrow fire. All right, so now really pause the video and try to work through the solution on your own. This is all the mental scaffolding needed to solve the problem. I'm gonna go over spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right. So looking at our examples, spicy fire of not spicy should produce the empty string. Next one should produce, 1 fire emoji. So I'm just going to copy it off the examples over here. And this is why we do examples. It's because they should help you, be able to write the function by giving you concrete uses of the function itself. And it's good to come up with these sometimes in order to, not be overwhelmed and hold it all in your head. It's better to do the concrete case first, because writing tests, writing examples is easy. Writing the general function is probably going to be harder as we go on. So Control I to reindent, Control I to run, And all 6 tests pass. All right. And there's not really much of a way to simplify this. So I'm just going to call this done. And let's submit it into handed. So this is 4.07. There we go. User U. Hand it in, and then let's go to the website and then check our score. All right. So there we go. Here's hand in. Then refresh the page. Advance proceed. User 2 U. And this is called spicy to fire. So we got 6 out of 6. All right. All right, so let's just move on to problem 4.08, scoville to spicy. All right, scoville arrow spicy. All right, so let's just go to the problem statements. So this problem has 2 subproblems, A and B. Let me just start with problem A. All right, give myself some space. So customers are angry at how inaccurate spicy descriptions are as taste buds vary. All right, something that may be spicy to me probably won't be spicy to you, or vice versa, because taste buds, genetics, etc., they kind of vary a lot. So the company has decided to measure their food using Scoville units and then translating that to a spicy description, as number measurements do not lie. So you are given the data definitions of Scoville and spicy description above. So this is the one that we did in the previous problem. This is the one that we're given for free in this problem. Notice how some steps of the design recipe are done for Scoville. Finish writing the template for the Scoville data definition. And here's a hint on how to deal with the intervals in them. So we can see that, let's see, all these 3 steps are done. We just got to write a template for Scoville. So pause the video and try to work it on your own. I'll go with spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right. So this is a one-of case. So hint, hint, hint. You got to make a function. Scoville temp. I'll just put SC as the name of the variable. We have to have a cond, right? That has how many cases? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cases. So 6 case cond. That should be 6. There we go. And we have to distinguish between the intervals. So if you don't know how to do that, you can always use the cheat sheet and match the brackets. But in this case, I know how to do it. So it's an inclusive interval and then an exclusive interval. All right. So we're going to do, let's see, is the number greater than or equal to SC0? And is it less than or equal to SC100? Is SC less than or equal to 100? All right. So there we go. So and they wrap these in an and because these are 2 expressions. And we want to do something with them. All right. And we don't know that yet because this is just solely laying out the minimum viable product for the function based on just the data alone. So let's just keep going. Oh, this is an exclusive interval. My bad. So I gotta remove these equal signs. There we go. All right, now it should work. So 0 to 100, and then 100 to 2000, 100 to 2500. All right, next is, let's see, up 2500 to 30,000. All right, next is 30,000 to 1,000. So I'm just going to copy these and then erase the commas because probably can't have a comma in the number names. So there we go. All right, and then this other half. So 25 to 30,000 and then 100,000 right here. And then 300,000 right there. There we go. All right, so delete these commas. There we go, there we go. There we go. All right. So 100 to 300,000, just double checking. All right, so this should be towards infinity. So anything greater than or equal to 300,000. All right. So there we go. And this is the template for Scoville. Right? So that's it. Let's move on to problem B. So problem B, write a scoville arrow spicy function that consumes scoville and produces a spicy description based on the interpretation of scoville. And they gave us some examples right here. So anywho, pause the video and try to work through this problem on your own. This is doing the second half, how to design functions, all right? So anywho, I'm gonna go for spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I'm assuming that you guys took a good swing at it. So let's just start with the signature. So it's gonna be scoville arrow spicy is the name of the function, and it's going to consume a scoville and produce a spicy description. All right, so let's see, produces, next is the purpose statement, so produce a spicy description based on the interpretation of scoville. Right, this is just from the problem statement. Anywho, let's just move on to the next step, which is the stub. So scoville arrow spicy, and it's going to consume a scoville, right, some number in a range, and it's going to produce a spicy description. Let's just use not spicy as the dummy value. Next are some tests. All right, so I'm going to copy down this because we kind of need to see it. It's kind of nice to see it both at the same time on screen. All right, so we're going to test, the boundaries, and then one number in the middle, as always. So check expect scoville arrow spicy. All right, so if we give 0, that should be not spicy. All right, because it says so in the interpretation here. And 100 exclusive should also not be spicy. Right, we're excluding 100, so 99 should not be spicy. All right, there we go. But 100 should be spicy because it's included in mild. All right, so let's just test one number in the middle really quickly though. So we're going to say like 50, and then we got to do sets of 3. All right, so this is, let's see, mild, right? So let's just make sure all 3 of these are mild. So the boundary lower bound for mild is 100. And then the lower bound, with the upper bound I mean, is 2,500. So that should also be mild. And in the middle we have like 1,500. All right, let's just keep going. So next is medium. All right, so medium is going to include, actually mild should be 2,499, my bad. Because this is excluding 2,500, right? So really 2,500 should be medium. All right, so let's just keep going. So what's the middle bound for medium? 30,000. It's an exclusive interval though, so we're not going to exclude that. It's going to be like 2,999. 2,999. So that's one below 30,000. And something in the middle can be 5,000. Right, next is hot, which actually includes 30,000. So that's the lower bound. So 30,000. And what's the upper bound for hot? 100,000. So 9,999 should be hot. So these should be hot. There we go. And then something in the middle, we'll say 50,000. And the next is extra hot. So there we go. It's 100,000. So let's just copy this set of 3. So this should be, is that the lower bound? Extra hot, yeah, inclusive is lower bound. So 100,000. All right, it should be extra hot. Extra. There we go. There we go. What's the upper bound for extra hot? It is 300,000. But is that an exclusive interval? Yeah, it is. We're excluding that, so it should be the 2,999 version of it. So there we go, 2 and then 9,999. There we go, and then something in the middle. You can just switch this to like a 2. And then finally, extremely hot, which is just 300,000 above. So that just takes like 2 intervals. So 300,000. So 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then this should be extremely hot. All right. And then something like way overboard, like the ghost peppers are probably like way up there. Probably in the millions or something. All right. So there we go. So next is, let's see. So we did the examples. Just mark myself done for those. So those are the examples. Next is the template from data. So we're consuming a scoville, and we just wrote the template for scovilles. We'll just use that as a baseline starter code. All right. And before we do that, let's run it against the test here. And they all fail, but no typos. It doesn't say any other errors that are interesting. So let's just replace the stub with the template. And now really pause the video and try to work it on your own, because this should be all the mental scaffolding needed to solve the problem. We'll go with spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we know that 0 to 100 is going to be not spicy. All right, next is going to be mild. Next is going to be medium. Numbers that fall into this range is going to be medium. Numbers that fall into this range is going to be hot. So 300,000 to 100,000. Well, 9999. Almost to 100,000. Next is extra hot, and then lastly is extremely hot. So we run all the tests, they should pass. If I rename the template name to the function name, and they all do pass. And let's make sure they pass on the server side test too. So it is called scoville to spicy 4.08. So we're going to submit this and check in the hand-ins error to make sure we got a good score. Make sure we're not missing any tests. So here we go. Refresh the page. It's going to prompt me to log in. There we go. And we got 17 out of 17. All right. Thank you for watching, human. If you wish to interact with more of your kind, join our Discord linked in the description or on the screen. If you want to aid in my quest for world domination, consider hitting the sub button. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, thumbs down if you didn't. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, fire away below. Also, check out the annotations on screen for the next relevant video.